Hey, what's up guys? I'm Tony G. You're watching 1526 BBQ, and today we're gonna cold smoke some mozzarella string cheese. Check it out. All right guys, now cold smoking cheese is actually very easy. You just wanna disperse your cheese out on a tray so that way it can get as much smoke as possible. We're using these cheese sticks, but you could be using block cheese, that's fine too. We're not going to be running our Pit Boss pellet smoker through its normal, the normal way you would use it. Instead, we're going to use one of these wire meshes. This is called a pellet maze. You may have seen a pellet tube. They do the same thing. It just gives you a place to burn pellets and keep the temperature really low. I like the maze better than the tube because the maze can give you a full 12 hours. And if you're cold smoking salt, this is really useful. All you have to do is light it up on one of the ends over here, right here, with a little torch, which you'll see in a minute, and then it'll just burn for about 12 hours. Now, I am in Florida. It isn't quite the middle of summer, but our high today is going to be somewhere in the mid to high 80s. So I'm going to put this bowl of ice in my smoker with the cheese to make sure the temperature stays nice and cool and they don't melt. So let's head over to the smoker and I'll show you how I'm going to set this up. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put my ice right up here on the top rack. Now this is one of the very rare times that I actually use that top rack. You want your ice kind of higher than where your cheese is going to be, because remember, cold air is going to drop down and it'll keep that area nice and cool. Alright, and just below the ice there is where I'm going to be putting my cheese. Now I got the cheese and the ice over to the right, which is closer to my stack. I'm going to set my pellet maze over here on the left. That way the smoke will go over the cheese and up the stack. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and light up our pellet maze. I'm going to be using this blue torch here. There'll be a link in the description for both the maze and the torch if you want to pick one up off Amazon. There's a hole on either side here, so I'm just going to be lighting this area for probably a minute or two until I see a nice flame develop here. And once the pellets are on fire or they've caught flame, I'll let them turn off so that they're smoking, and then we're ready to cold smoke. Alright, as you can see that the pellets have in fact caught, right? So I have a little flame going there. I'll give that a minute to kind of die off, and then we'll be developing our smoke. Alright, now you can see we're making smoke. Our flame is gone, so we're ready to cold smoke. Now, let me move the camera back so I can show you something. The main thing you want to think about when you're using one of these pellet mazes or pellet tubes is your airflow. So I've used my pellet maze on my Pit Boss 1100 Pro many times in the past, and sometimes I get issues where it keeps turning off on me. And what's happening is I'm suffocating my flame, if you will. I don't have enough airflow going through the machine to keep that lit. So what I do sometimes, and I'll come out and check in about 20 minutes to make sure we're still smoking, but there's the lid closed. But if I find that my pellets keep turning off, I'll get a little piece of aluminum foil, and you can't see it on the screen there, but just here, right where the lip would meet the barrel, I'll just put a little piece of aluminum foil. That way then there's air that can enter through here and allow the smoke to come out through the stack. Alright, so you're going to want to let these cheese sticks smoke for somewhere between 2 and 4 hours. It really just depends on what you're looking for in terms of how much smoke you want. But once they're done smoking, you're going to want to pull them off the smoker and let them just relax for about 15 or 20 minutes so they can come down in temp a little bit. Alright, we've had our cheese on for 3 hours, and there they are. Beautiful brown color. They are smoked. So off the smoker, they're actually already nice and cool. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap these up in some parchment paper. Now you gotta use parchment paper here because you want these to breathe for about 24 hours in the fridge. So I'm just gonna kind of bunch them up. And then we're gonna wrap them up somewhat loose. I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave that side open so there's plenty of airflow. And we'll be back in 24 hours.
24 hours later.
Alright, so it's been 24 hours. Let's take a look at our cheese. Alright, there it is. It's actually kind of clumped up, but that's alright. Now the next thing you want to do is get these into as airtight as possible of a container and let them sit in the fridge for another 10-15 days before you actually eat them. That gives the smoke enough time to mellow out and kind of balance itself out, I guess. Now ideally I would want to saran wrap each one of these, but I just found out before I turned the camera on that I am out of saran wrap. So we're going to make do with the Ziploc bag and get as much air out of it as possible. So there they are. To get as much air out as possible, I'm going to close off the ends and leave the middle open a little bit. And then slowly wrap it, getting as much air out as possible. Now there's still air in there, so I'm going to take this straw. Again, saran wrap would be ideal, but I'm going to take this straw and close the plastic bag as much as possible. I'm going to suck out the air that I can remaining in the bag, quickly pull out the straw and close the Ziploc. Alright, so that's as airtight as I can get it. Back in the fridge for 10, 14, 15 days, something like that. If you want to check out what I'm going to do with these next, I'm actually going to make deep fried mozzarella sticks. And as soon as that video is ready, it'll be posted right here. Or maybe it's over here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.